Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Saturday to you. Oh man, we have a good one for you today. Oh man, I'm just so excited. You know what? Before I'm already excited, so let me just slow down just for a quick second. I want to make sure that first you can hear me and see me. And just to make sure, put in the chat where you're from. We love to know where people are coming from. I'm in the state of Virginia, and we just want to know where people are coming from. And plus, you get to exercise how you get to ask questions in the chat. Because we love for everybody to stay muted because our investors today have a lot of information they want to share, and we want to hear everything because they're taking time out of their day. So I'm going to look and see where we have people coming from, and I can see, oh man, this is really awesome. We got DC in the house. We got Memphis, Tennessee, Arlington, Chicago. We got Brooklyn in the house by Crown Heights. Welcome here, Chicago, Arlington, Virginia. How you doing? Boulder, Colorado. I was just in Colorado this week, and it's awesome out there. Hey, Memphis, Tennessee. We got going on. We got Washington D.C., New York, Albany, New York, Southern Delaware. Welcome, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. Hey, Charlotte, North Carolina's in the house. That's what I'm talking about. North Kakalaki. We got ATL, Atlanta's in the house. Seattle, Washington showing up all the way from Toronto, Canada, also being here with us today. Hey, welcome. Glad to see that you're on. Las Vegas is here today. Hey, if you just coming on, just go ahead and put in the chat where you're coming from. So that way you get to exercise your questions that you have. So just let me know. This is a live meeting. And so sometimes, you know, the sound may go in and out. This is live. This is not pre-recorded, but you get to ask your question. Like Catherine's putting in there that, she's from Virginia, Antonio Lobo, South Florida. Hey, good to see you, my brother. Hey, so this is really awesome. I'm so excited right now. Hey, Scott, um, I'm ready to go ahead and start taking some notes and stuff because the the the, the featured investor that you had today, they just have so much information. I'm just so excited. I want to turn it over to you, my friend. But before I do that, Scott, I just want to say thank you for putting this together. If it wasn't for you to put together where we get to hear from investors, real estate investors who are doing something today, like not like they did 10 years ago, they're actually in action right now and get to share their story where other people get to actually glean and understand that. So, Scott, I want to turn it over to you, my friend, and thank you again.
Well, Keith, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Anna and Roy. Good morning, everybody on. Can you believe today is March 1st? 2 months have already gone by in 2025. I mean, I feel like I've taken a few naps and it's now March 1st. And we have an incredible property tour for you guys today. I'm so excited to have my good friends and great business minded entrepreneurs, real estate investors that are also very close friends of ours. They're going to be on here shortly to share what's going on and their stories and what they're doing. And maybe a little bit more than even what this particular property, just kind of give an idea of all the different types of real estate investing they're doing. But we do these guys every Saturday morning. We love to feature investors or team of investors from around our community somewhere in the country. And soon we'll start featuring some of the folks that are outside our country. We actually have one of our newest folks on today from the Bahamas. Welcome on, Felicia. Can't wait to do a property tour down in the Bahamas. But again, we love doing this because we love sharing what our investors are doing. And for you, if you're on today as a guest, thank you for coming on. I know Keith normally says this, but if you during this property tour, if you really are, if this property tour is resonating with you, if you're getting a lot from it, just send a text to whoever invited you because they thought enough of you, like, hey, you need to check this out. You need to be on this. Send them a thank you, shoot them a text over and say, thanks for inviting me to the property tour today. But again, we have Roy and Anna on from Minnesota, and well, they were in Mexico last week. Now they're or a week ago or 10 days ago. Now they're in Minnesota. But let's bring Roy and Anna out. They have a lot to cover. We do keep these to an hour. Like he said, please type in the chat room if you have questions for them. And also, if you got questions about numbers, everybody always wants to know the numbers. Again, I understand why it's a numbers game, numbers business. They will get to those toward the end. So hold your numbers questions up. But Anna, Roy, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Well, good morning again.
Yeah,
Can you hear me? You hear me okay?
we can hear you.
Can you
You,
hear
you,
us?
se- you seem like you're a long ways away from the computer.
Okay, is that better?
Okay.
A little better, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Roy and Anna, you've done some of these property tours for us. You've actually helped host these before, which I've always appreciated you guys when, for all that work. But you've been a part of this community. I've known you guys for quite a while now, and you're like so many other people that are in our community. You love to give back. You love to help others out, and you're just really good stewards of our community because you want to help other people out, and you go about it the right way. So today there might be a lot of people on that don't know you guys. They've never been on a property tour with you before. They don't know your stories. They don't know your background. And I think it's always interesting to share with people on, like, your background, but what happened in your lives that you decided that real estate investing was the strategy or the way you guys wanted to go in business and life. And then how did you find the community? And what was it about the community was like, I want to be a part of this community like I am and so many others are. So Anna, Roy, you guys want to take it over?
Yeah, we can definitely. I'll share just what we're doing now and let Roy share how we got here. But we currently pretty much focus on finding discounted properties, financing them creatively. When we got started, we had about $1,000 in our bank account. And so we had to learn quickly, how do we leverage other people's money and creative financing, like whether it's subject to or private money. So we have focused on rehabbing properties that need work. And can you hear us okay?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay, so if you're having difficulty or there's no sound, please just check your audio. So yeah, we rehab properties, and then we've been kind of how we process our properties are mainly furnished rentals. We own a resort that has 13 short-term rentals on it in northern Minnesota. We're proud of that one. You can find it at stayconacona.com. So that's one aspect of our business. And then we're in Minnesota, so we have in the Twin Cities, St. Paul, Minneapolis, we have several furnished rentals. And I say furnished rentals because whatever the market is demanding is how we use those properties. So short-term rental, mid-term rentals, we're always ready to pivot. So yeah, I'll let you tell the crowd.
Morning, everyone, once again, and welcome to this property tour. Appreciate.
Hey, Roy, can I pause you real quick?
Sure.
Anna, you didn't tell anybody about your background, what you've done in your life. I mean, I think it's very powerful. Same with Roy's will be powerful as well, but I really would like you to share that. Do you mind?
Please go ahead.
I was gonna let him.
Interesting.
My background, I've been a professor for about 20 years at the University of Minnesota. I love helping people, and so I naturally fell into healthcare. I've been the director of a cleft palate and craniofacial center for many, many years. And what drove us to get into real estate investing is really, I think, the wake-up call that a lot of people face in adulthood is like, how long can I work at this pace? Because I was working at a pace that really wasn't sustainable in academics, 70 plus hours a week, publishing, doing clinical care. And so the real estate investing has really been a lifeline that I can still use my skills as, at my PhD level and helping people, but we can do it on our terms. So
Yeah. So My name's Roy. As you heard, I'm originally from Uganda, East Africa. So I, the reason I really try, the reason I got a liking, a longing to get into real estate was I worked with my mother, who was an interior designer in Uganda. So she sent me to all these properties to like fix them up and take measurements. And so I started thinking, how can I take my mother's business to the next level? And fast forward 2012, I moved to the US. My background was journalism and film. So I worked for a nonprofit in Africa. We helped child soldiers and women that had been abused during the civil war in Uganda to get rehabilitated and all that. And so when I moved to the US in 2012, I thought it was another opportunity to figure out how real estate works, because it worked very differently in Uganda. It was really hard to figure it out because it's not as formal as it is here. And so whenever I talk to people, they were like, you get a license. That's how you'll become an investor. Most people don't understand that there is a difference between being a realtor and being an investor. And so when I met Anna in 2016, when we met and we were getting married, I was kind of telling her, you know what, I've always wanted to do real estate. We didn't know how to like get into it. We just really didn't know. I had actually bought some courses on tax liens and tax deeds, and I was trying to like scratch my head about how do I do this? Like so complicated. But so when we got married, we started a film business because we thought maybe that's one of the ways
we could get into business.
Yeah, we could get our freedom. Actually, one of our wake-up calls was looking at a job as a professor and looking at the jobs that I was doing. I was like, how long is it going to take us to retire comfortably? And we realized we'd have to work into our 60s and 70s. We're like, that's not what we want. So really, that was the wake-up call. And we're so grateful. I had actually applied to go do my master's because I was thinking maybe that will also help us get better income. And so that's how, at that point in time, is when we came across this community of investors. I literally had applied to the U of M. I had been accepted. And so we're like, do we go to the U of M? Do I do real estate? And we chose to do real estate, and we've never looked back.
That's amazing. So you threw out so many things there that I really hope people listen to, but let me back up a little bit. Okay. So Anna, when you met Roy and you guys decided to get married, had you been thinking at all about real estate investing before that?
No,
Okay. So you hadn't.
I didn't know.
And
I had thought about it.
Yes, you had thought about it. You had done.
I'm content with my job.
Yes, as a professor and helping people out, and
I was ignoring the pain of, oh gosh, I'm living paycheck to paycheck and working hard.
Yeah.
Well,
some of the things were painful to me as an immigrant was, okay, I really love the opportunity to work in this country, but then I looked at my pay stub. And whenever I worked extra hours to get paid more, I got taxed even more. So those are some of the reasons. Yes. There's got to be a better way to go about life.
But when you guys got started, again, if I say this incorrectly, please correct me. You guys had like $1,000.
Yep.
Okay. Because you guys hear the same thing I hear every day. And I had that mindset when I first got started. I don't have a ton of money sitting around, right? I got to have a bunch of money to do real estate investing. I'll just wait until I get a bunch of money to do real estate. Isn't that the common? And how often do you hear in your life today when you meet people and you're talking to them about what you do and they say, I don't have any money? Yeah. And it's just, it's a mindset, and it's kind of like how they have been taught and brought up that they got to have money to invest. You guys are a perfect example. You now own a resort. You have multiple single family homes that you do short terms. You've done fix and flips. You've done wholesaling, and you started with like $1,000 in the bank.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's just so inspiring, and I'm sure that will resonate with people, because there could be people on today saying, I've been wanting to start, I've been wanting to start, I've been wanting to start. I just don't have a ton of money. So how did you learn to leverage
So
creative acquisitions, how to use private funds, that kind of thing? How did you figure that all out? Because that some people, they're overwhelmed, like, I'll never be able to figure all this out.
everything we've learned and
Mhm.
where we are today is because of this community. The courses and then the support and the network. So I think we're like most people on here, like we aren't gonna inherit a lot of money. We're, probably average intelligence. But I will say we're very focused and determined and patient.
Yeah.
You said, we've done wholesaling and fix and flip and buy and hold in a resort. And that's a lot, but we've also we've been very focused on what our goal is and not jumping all over, right? We've done this over 5 years.
5 years.
I remember when we first started, there was someone who was going to mentor us, and we quickly realized, okay, you don't know enough to you can't get all the knowledge you need from one person, and that's why the community is so powerful. So,
And when you talk about the community, you're talking about not only the people in the community, but you're talking about the education and the platform of learning that we have.
Yeah, because really, when we started, we were renting and we didn't even know how to get a down payment to buy a house. That is where we were. Of course, you said we had $1,000 in our bank account, but just starting to take these classes, finding this community and realizing we need to invest in ourselves. I had to go to the U of M and borrow money to get a profession and then start paying that money back. This learning real estate investing made way more sense to us, because now we started learning that we don't really need a bunch of our own money to get into real estate, right? We started leveraging the knowledge and essentially taking action as we went to the study groups, right? To take the classes, go to the study groups and figure out practical things we could do to get into real estate with none of our own money. And literally, that's how we got into our first property, right?
That's amazing.
Own money.
That's
we can go
amazing.
on and on, but I'm sure people want to see the deal. And
Yes, yes. So I think it's good though to share that, because there's just so much that you guys have experienced. And I love the fact that you've taken action. I mean, you did tell everybody that you were pretty satisfied. You had this professor career in education. You were getting satisfaction, self-satisfaction from helping others out. And then all of a sudden, thank you, Roy. Roy comes into the picture and starts getting your mind going because of his desire and drive. And so that's kind of real life. That's what I love about these property tours, is just, talking about all of it. So the deal you guys are showing us today, it's always interesting to share with people how you found the deal, how you discovered it, the negotiations, the funding, just all the reasons why you did the deal. Because, we have many sayings in this industry. And when I say industry, real estate investing, but one of them is that the numbers have to work. You can't force the numbers. You can't massage the numbers. If the numbers work, it's a good deal. If they don't work, you go to the next deal. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about this particular deal. I know you got a lot of pictures to show, and people are excited to see what you did here.
So, hey, as they get ready to start, I want everybody who's online, if you're ready to hear what they got going on, just type in the chat, ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Just go ahead and put in the chat, because you get your questions ready, because they're about to pour a lot of information out. All right, there we go. So they're ready. So now get ready,
Okay, so
because they're ready.
Ready. Rory's going to share how we found the deal. And then I'll talk about how we did our initial analysis to make sure those numbers worked. And then we're going to show the full extent of this rehab, and we'll wrap up with showing you the specific numbers now that the project is rehabbed and launched.
Yeah. So how did we find this deal? It was through real estate is a team sport. We were actually, it was a summer and we spent our summers up north at the resort. But thankfully, because we are part of a team, right? Like that's part of being a part of this community is you learn how to develop teams, to be a part of teams. So one of the individuals we had brought on board to, take these classes actually found a property. And they got interested and they were like, they needed help with it. And then they realized they weren't in a position to perform on this property. And when we took a look and kind of, guided them about what it would take to make this work, they realized they didn't have the capacity. They had just gone through bankruptcy. Their experience wouldn't really help them perform. And so they passed it on to us, and we compensated them for it. And so that's literally how we found this property. And when we looked at the numbers, like Scott said, it's all about the numbers. The numbers made sense. And so that's how we purchased this property.
So we ran the initial numbers and knew that this deal would work as a wholesale, a fix and flip, or a buy and hold. And so then the team member that brought us the deal, we gave him those options of, we can wholesale this together. You don't have the resources right now to fix and flip this, but you can do that with a property in the future. So we ended up putting it under contract with our company. And then once we had it under contract is when we started doing more fine-tuned analyses of, okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to wholesale this, fix and flip, or use it as a buy and hold? Because that does influence our financing, etc., and what we do with the property. And so we ended up, this property was on the MLS. It had been sitting forever, or not forever, probably 4 months. And they kept dropping the price. And so we ended up buying this in late August. It's in Minneapolis, a very desirable neighborhood that's really close to the lakes. High-end area. There's multi-million-dollar houses right in the neighborhood. So
awesome. And I love how you shared with everybody that when you ran the initial analysis, before you got down and dirty with the numbers, you ran the initial analysis and you determined you had multiple exit strategies. I love that you said that, because it is so important to have more than one exit strategy. In this case, you had what, 3 or 4?
correct. Yeah.
You could wholesale it, you could flip it, you could fix it and keep it as a long term, or you could do what, a short term.
Correct.
That's what you guys were looking at, right?
Correct. Yeah. And
Perfect.
always like do that analysis, because if we're going to wholesale it, we want the deal to work for whoever purchases it, right? But we like to decide ahead of time on our main strategy, because we want to hit it out of the park for that strategy, but we also want to have multiple exit strategies, so if the market changes, we can pivot. So
Excellent.
Before pictures, this is the exterior. So this is when we purchased it, I think it was about 1,800 square feet. And so we did improve the finished square footage by finishing the basement. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths. So we'll run through. So a few problems the house had. They initially listed this house for $340, and they got an offer But the windows were in really bad condition, and the sellers did not want to offer the buyers to pay for the windows, and so then it sat on the market. It also, most of the landscaping sloped towards the house, and the roof was in bad shape. The decking was really poor, so it was not only replacing the shingles, but all of the decking of the roof had to be replaced. So on the exterior, we regraded everything. As long as we had everything torn up, we got a sewer scope and learned that part of the sewer needed to be repaired. So we did all of that, grading, sewer repair, new roof, and then we painted the exterior. This is to where what you would see if you come in and turn the corner. This is a large space. The floors were in good condition, but there's a lot of wallpaper to deal with. A lot of wallpaper to deal with, and all of the wiring in the house was essentially active knob and tube. So we did end up redoing the electrical. A lot of the plumbing was not up to code, and so we actually redid all of the plumbing. So electrical, plumbing. The HVAC was, we did a new high efficiency furnace, and added central air. So you'll see in this dining room is actually pretty small, but we made the kind of usable footprint space bigger by eliminating this buffet, which stuck out at least 2 feet. Here's the kitchen. Now, the reason it was important for us to decide what we were going to do with the property is what you invest in the property, right, needs to align with your final strategy, right? And so if we knew if we were going to do a fix and flip, we would do open concept and blow this wall out. But we knew we were going to do a furnished rental. And so we kind of kept to a minimum, taking out walls and etc. In the city we are in, there, code, like it's
Very picky.
very, very picky.
Yeah.
When you're in a high urban area. And so it's like, if you touch one thing, now you have to do everything, right? A whole lot of things, right? If you touch this wall, you're going to have to insulate that wall. Like, it's just a slippery slope. So we're very careful to work within the footprint as much as we could. So here's the kitchen. The plumbing was just not correct. There was no venting. They were calling this another bedroom. So we ended up taking this out and opening it up. And so you'll see that became a really nice sunroom.
They had quite a configuration in that kitchen. It looks like they had a refrigerator in front of the window.
Yep.
They had a stove in a closet.
Yep.
And microwave.
Yep. And that refrigerator was plugged into an extension cord that was coming through from the outside of the house.
Oh my gosh.
Right. We've done other, like, this is considered a full rehab, right? It's not just fix and flip. This is a full rehab, and we've done that on other houses that are 100+ years old, and we've learned to like have a healthy budget, because you always find things that you don't expect. So this is upstairs. There's 2 bedrooms. So this is bedroom number 1. And then this is bedroom number 2. And then this is the upstairs bathroom. There wasn't much footprint wise without, like, adding an addition. So we worked really hard to stay within the current footprint. This is in the basement, so shower, bathroom, but none of this plumbing was correct. The drainage was not correct. You probably know more about this.
Yeah, it was, they called it a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, but it actually was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom because this wasn't up to code. So we had to completely change that, as you will see in the pictures.
So in order to redo this bathroom, we actually had to tear out the entire floor. The entire basement floor was just very uneven. And because of the previous drainage issues, we actually took out the entire basement floor. We put drain tile in. We took all the paneling off and took care of some mold issues, which is fine by us. As we say, right, mold is gold. So if you're listening and you haven't done this, it might be like, whoa, that's a lot. And it is a lot, but all these things is like the average person buying a house is not going to do this stuff, right? And so that's how we get discounted properties. Having the knowledge of what it takes to have a team that can do these repairs and bring things up to code in an efficient manner.
Without, and also having that reward your ARV, the after repair value, because there is pouring the money in when the after repair, the values in the neighborhood don't support it, right? So that all comes into play.
So this is, you'll see, they were actually calling this, well, they were using this as a bedroom, but there is no egress. And this just extended, there was like a temporary wall again, and they had a bedroom. And so we gutted this and made a legal bedroom, which you'll see in the after pictures.
So you've thrown out a lot of words, a lot of verbiage that maybe some folks are, they might look at that and they might say, well, it's got a window. What do you mean they can't get out it? So egress is pretty standard. There's a certain size window. It's typically it's got to be so many inches off the finished floor, and obviously that was just a small window with a window well outside. So I'm sure you probably had to enlarge the window well and cut out that foundation to put a larger window in there.
Correct. Yep.
I was amazed by the fact. Did you literally say you took out the whole basement slab?
Correct.
All of the basement slab, not just around the perimeter. You took it all out.
We took out all the concrete in the basement. We didn't necessarily go beyond the foundation wall.
Right.
We took out the whole basement floor because it was really broken up and uneven. It was wavy because probably the person who poured it, when we're talking about a contractor, they probably poured like 2 inches of concrete. And so, we had to dig all of that out. And that wasn't, it's literally something we thought, considering the water issues that are likely because we're closer to the lakes and the fact that the floor is going to be uneven, and finishing that up, even if you laid LVP on that,
right,
that was going to cut it. So that was pretty much what we had to do.
So by running your numbers and establishing where your ARV or your top ARV could be for that area, so you knew you couldn't like put a $2 million house in there. You knew that here's where we can be, but you had to get there. You needed to finish the basement, correct? You needed to add bedrooms and bathrooms to raise the value.
And everything we did, like we knew, okay, we have to stay within this rehab money. We not only want this to work for furnished rental in the next few years, but everything we did, we also want to potentially be able to sell this and profit well in like 3 to 5 years. We haven't made up our mind how long we will hold this property. So really balancing what can we do to make money as a short-term rental, but also improve it in a way that this will be easy to sell
Yeah.
if we need to sell it.
If we decide to sell it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, should we look at the after photos?
Yes, I'm
We'll get
excited.
more into this. I'm excited too to talk a little bit about just aligning our investment strategies with our vision. Because a lot of why we decided to do what we did for this is because of our vision and what we love doing.
So Anna, so there could be some people on today, as y'all was talking about that, which y'all were dropping like some really good some information. They may be wondering, did you know that you was going to have to do all of that? I mean, did you go with a general contractor to walk through? Were you able to walk through yourself? And how did you learn that kind of stuff? And then you talking about the market, and like, is that something that you always knew, or somebody help you out? Or did you learn that?
You're absolutely right, Keith, in that, like, for one investment property, right? Like, there's market analysis. There's how do you rehab a property? How do you do an analysis of like, how will this affect your taxes? How will this, like, is this what your business needs right now? Whenever we talk about doing a deal, right, you have to know if this is successful, what do I want it to accomplish for us, for our business? And so, we have a whole library of classes that we've listened to over and over, and we don't pass up deals. I would say, like, we don't find deals, we create deals, and that's because of the knowledge of the courses.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you used hard money, would this still be a deal? Or is it because we're able to find good financing that now this is a really good deal? So we have to create deals, and you do that with knowledge.
So yeah, and really the different classes teach you different aspects of this business, right? Real estate is a complex, there's all kinds of nuances. And you asked about the contractors, right? At what point we bring in contractors, or did we do the work ourselves? Actually, what has really been helpful is the fact that we took an inspection class. That's one of those. If you want to buy real estate, you want to know what are some of the, like, the red flags, what are some of those things that are going to be called out, like the electrical is not up to code, the bathrooms are not up to code. Even though we don't do the work ourselves, we can still see things that need to be brought up to code. Mm-hmm. So yes, we looked through the property and we inspected ourselves, but sometimes, like in this case, we also got inspectors, we got a sewers cop, and then we also got the trades, the electrician and plumber and HVAC people, because they're licensed to do this stuff. Walk through again with us to, essentially check all, dot the I's and cross the T's.
I don't think we've ever done a project that isn't without some surprises.
Yeah.
So did we know everything that had to be done? No, but we had a pretty good idea. Mm-hmm. And we also know there's going to be surprises. So we run our numbers conservative. We know, okay, what if we go over by 10%? What if we go over by 20%? Mm-hmm. Can we still exit this?
Yeah.
Well,
and also like even the classes help you get the right crew, because it's not about jumping on the next HVAC or plumber, right? So you also essentially learn how to vet these contractors and make sure you're hiring the right people and signing the right contracts with them. So it's just incredible, like the safeguards that you get by being knowledgeable in this business.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that, because now you're about to show the pictures, what you have done, which really means how you implement it. And so thank you for taking the time to talk about where it was, what was going on, how did y'all learn, what the things that y'all did, because a lot of people say, they see a lot of things about learn here, learn here, learn here. It's not about just the knowledge. That is key, but implementation is even better, because that's when you get the results, which you're about to show us now. So thank you for taking the time for that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So our rehab final number ended up being around like 165,000. We did get multiple bids, and some of those bids were up to like 250,000 if we were to use a GC who would manage the deal. We were able to have a GC within the community, helped pull permits, but then essentially Roy and I did all the planning, the designing. We found all the trades and coordinated all that. And there's a lot that goes into when you do what in a full rehab, and proper management of that determines how long the project takes. So from start to finish, this project was 5.5 months. And that's good because time is money for sure. So here's the main living room. We updated electrical, we kept the flooring, and then furnished it. So this is a furnished rental. We will allow up to 10 guests. So all of the seating, right? Everything is meant to handle a larger group. Here's the other angle. So you can see all new windows. What else? Yeah, just careful attention to design, making it clean. Not something, you're trying to create something people are excited to experience. And then again, that it can accommodate that number of people. This is where that buffet was. So we took out that buffet and ended up adding a built-in dining room bench. We built it just the right size so we wouldn't have to redo the flooring. Here's that picture, that kitchen. Again, we left the footprint the way it was, adding, trying to make this not look like a closet. So I think we accomplished it, not looking like a closet, but staying in that footprint.
And maximizing the space too for storage of utensils.
Yeah, so here's an overall. We did use paneling to add character, kind of just finding ways, how can we add character and make it look unique but timeless, and stay on budget. So it was tight. So where the fridge is, there used to be windows, so we ended up closing that up to get that fridge kind of within the footprint of the kitchen. And then this is where that quote bedroom was that we opened up. So it's a little bit of an extension of the kitchen. We have a coffee and tea bar for our guests, and then a little place to enjoy. Here's that bedroom upstairs. Whenever we are doing a furnished rental, whether it's short-term or mid-term, we love to get at least one king-size bed in there. So we were able to get a king-size bed in there. And then here's that other room. These are 2 queen beds. So again, having enough beds to maximize our profit when it comes to a short-term or mid-term rental. Here you can see the bathroom, again, left the footprint the way it was, added some nice paint for contrast, new flooring, new plumbing, but everything essentially same footprint. And just, you can do a lot with paint and lighting with good design. Obviously, a lot of our work went into the plumbing, HVAC, electrical, but then the basement as well. These stairs needed to be brought up to code. We decided to leave the ceiling open, just money-wise, and then wanting to have that illusion of more headspace. So we did LVP. Here's a little family room, and then that day bed converts into a king-size bed for our guests. And then here's the bedroom with that egress window. I think the paint color on the ceiling kind of adds a lot of character character, but really, again, didn't cost us a lot more money. So here's that bathroom that you saw before that was all cement bricks and blue, now up to code. Nice walk-in shower, because it's, for us, it's a basement bathroom, and what our, furnished rental, we did not go overboard, right? We did not do tile shower. We just kept it clean, simple, but nice enough. If we wanted to sell this tomorrow, we would make some nice money as well. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what we did. This is the exterior. We painted it, new door, new windows, new roof. And we'll do the landscaping as soon as it warms up a little bit here in Minnesota. So,
Man, that is awesome. So it's like you took a project and you created so many exit strategies as you was talking, and I know you talked about it, but can you just share one more time? Because a lot of people say, wait a minute, is this a fix and flip? Is this a rehab? Is this a short-term rental? What is it they did? If you don't mind real quick.
yeah, so, right, like, this is a buy and hold. And we bought it discounted, distressed. So discount meant distressed. And so we rehabbed it, right? So it's like fix it up, hold it. And now we own it. So now we get to decide, is it a traditional rental? Is it a long-term? Is it short-term? And so we call it a furnished rental. And then we just watch, what does the market, what does our business need? We love to have equity and leverage that equity to buy more houses.
You know what? That is awesome because I'm sorry, Roy, just real quick, because it sounds, because a lot of people want control in their life. And what y'all kind of did, you took something, you created as investors, right? You're able to pivot, you're able to make things happen, and now you have control. Go ahead, Roy.
Yeah, it's pretty much like you said, what the market is asking for, what this particular neighborhood wants, but also a balance. Because literally in this neighborhood, we could have torn this house down and rebuilt and still made money, but we're like, do we really want to be stuck with all our weather? Like right now it's winter, and then there's things you can't do during the winter. So yeah, just knowing and pacing yourself out, and not you don't really have to go all out, but just pace yourself and think, for this season in my life, I'm gonna focus on the mid and short-term rental, and just be focused, because we've come across people who are like, I'm gonna do it in such a way that I can flip it or sell it or furnish it as a short-term rental. Just determining from the front end what your end goal is really helps guide what you do, which is very important.
Yeah, that's awesome. And because a lot of people are saying, just the beginning to the end, the contrast, just everything was beautiful. I was looking at that coffee nook that you had there. I was like, I want coffee now. I can see myself sitting there, the sun coming in, you got a book, and you kind of like drinking your coffee there. So that's like very inviting. That's I know, Roy, you did all the design on that. I can tell.
Yeah,
That's
Anna really
awesome.
loves design. I'm like, what were you doing being a professor? Because she really loves design. She earned herself quite a few design jobs from
Well,
the work that we do. Yeah, so it's cool.
well, I can answer that one. I think Anna's good at everything she does.
Yeah, y'all definitely y'all awesome power.
I'll tell you that we're grateful, we're blessed to be a team, because you'd be surprised that like sometimes we're just checking each other out, like, okay, can we do this? Like, reality is projects you get weary. So at some point you're like, get tired. I'm like, I'm ready to be done. Right. But then you need that one person like, hey, let's do a little more, right?
It
So
stretches
yeah.
me, because we used a private lender on this, but we also used business credit. We used some equity from another rental property, and that really stretches me. Like a huge change in my life since we've joined the community is a money mindset shift. And it's just another commodity that we have to leverage. And so it's every project for us is a growth opportunity. So let me share the numbers and then we can kind of wrap up. And as I pull
Sure.
up, one thing I know, like we were talking about what we did with this property, and people, like when you do short-term rental, you can do lease arbitrage or you can own it. And people will ask, like, okay, like what am I trying, like we are buying numbers, right? Versus just being so fixated on one strategy. Like, I just want to do short-term rental. And to me, like, it comes back to, what do you want this to accomplish for you? Like, if this is successful, what will it allow you to do? So here, we purchased this house for $290. And then we estimated, like, if we did nothing, like how much of a discount were we getting? The neighbor actually bought her house in the same condition for the same price 2 years before this for $340. Yeah. So we knew, like, we were walking in, and if we did nothing but maybe paint it, like, we had a deal, right? We're buying it discounted. And so we could have just, painted it and long-term rental, right? Or sell it. The rehab was $165. The house 2 doors down just sold for $700,000. That had a garage. For Roy and I, we know we can do a 2-car garage for $40K, which is right. So this is how we got the current value of $660,000. So we estimate we're sitting on about $200,000 in equity.
That's awesome.
Any questions about those numbers? And then I'll share, like, what our numbers are estimated to be as the rental.
So you talk about your purchase price with finder's fee. You were able to negotiate because it was a distressed property. And what after the first time the seller had on the market and the deal fell through, what did he come back or she come back at, and what was the initial or asking price before you ended up settling at $290 with the finder's fee?
So it was listed at, was it $340 when we put the offer in?
$340
is what it was listed at, and we put it under contract for $285 and gave our team member a $5,000. Awesome.
So when you came in at 285, or you ended up getting it under contract at 285, was it just throwing numbers back and forth, or did you show them, the seller, why you could only pay this amount of money?
So part of it is the way real estate works is and that is why knowledge helps you. Is initially what really did them in was they didn't fix the windows. The offer they had, they didn't fix the windows, and so it sat for a little bit, and so that gave us negotiating power.
This was so our team member had tried to put an offer in on his own, and he put an offer in at $260. And they came back and told him our lowest will go is $285. And so we used that information and we just put an offer.
Okay.
I'm like, how did we get there? Because that's
okay.
Discrepancy.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you determined your $660 after repair value because you had a similar like product or property that sold for $700 that had a 2-car garage?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and there's multiple properties. Like, you don't want to do comparables based on just one property. Yeah. And so we have a few realtors on our team that we work with, and we have them run the comparables, and then we run our own. So, like, we had a realtor say, $800,000, and then, so we figure out what's our conservative number. Right? Again, my money, I'm conservative.
That's
Excellent. So here you are sitting, you've got a property that you acquire using creative funding, you're using equity from another property, you're using
Right.
private lending, you're using some business credit, right?
Yeah, so the purchase price and part of the rehab was a private lender. So it happens to be someone in the community who what her strategy is private lending with her retirement account. So we did a 30-year mortgage with her. And so here you can say our mortgage payment to our private lender. So again, no banks is $3,017 a month. Here's our taxes per month, our insurance per month. This other loan payment is from the home equity line of credit and financing we did for the windows. And so this other, like that includes our other loans. And then here as a furnished rental, our estimated utilities. So all in, our expenses are fixed expenses. These are fixed expenses. So we can't change these, right? Can there be other expenses that come up? Absolutely. So 58,000 is the annual expenses. We know from other properties that this will, on average, bring in $6,000 to $10,000 a month. We currently have it rented at 100% occupancy. We decided to do a 4-month lease for a traveling nurse, and our payout for that is $6,000 a month. And so this 72,000 is based on, okay, what if we only get $6K per month? You can see there's quite a range, and that range is just the nature of furnished rentals. So not included in this is our setup costs. Our setup costs were about 15,000, and we used business credit. Most of that's at 0% for a year. We will use the revenue from this first year to pay that off, and then we'll start to actually cash flow.
Beautiful.
So, yeah. So,
and I think the opportunity we have down the road right now, it's really getting it rented, which we have, like Anna mentioned, we have some like 4 months commitment from the traveling nurse, which is great.
So let me ask you this question as we get toward the top of the hour and we've got about 5 minutes left, and I want you guys to kind of give final remarks. I think this is maybe a good one to leave everybody on before you get to those final remarks. Why would a private lender use money out of their 401k or a Roth or self-developed directed fund, whatever it is, to do a 30-year mortgage with their money? Why would they do that?
because it's
I know the answer, but
yeah, it's predictable for them, right? For
right.
someone who's approaching retirement or wants to grow it in a stable way, she's making good money. We're saving money, so it's a win-win. But if we default, what happens? Well, she's got the first lien on the property. The property becomes hers, and we've improved it. So that's a win for her as well. What happens if the stock market crashes? Does she get her money? Is there a guarantee? No. So that's why it's such a win-win.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Go ahead, Keith.
Hey, no, that's awesome. Hey, there was a lot of things that y'all were sharing today. You're talking about the community, you're talking about the education. There's a lot. And so some people may be thinking, like, how do I get connected? How do I get part in? So ask the person who invited you to this meeting. There's one right after this. See if you can get plugged in. It's a different Zoom link. But if you can't make it, just still reach out to the person who invited you to this one. And so that way they can get you plugged in, because there's so much. I mean, we can continue talking, but we're getting close to the end. So, Roy, and as y'all was kind of walking us through this property, there's probably some other things that you were thinking of, because there's some people who said, I I want to get started, don't know how to get started. I need some help, moving. There's some people who's already doing it, but they want to take the game to another level because I mean, y'all have done a lot of different strategies. It's really awesome and just a resort, right? So what are some encouraging words that you can give to them as we're about to close out, as you was kind of thinking through today that because some people had questions throughout the chat that you want to share.
I mean, like one thing that I was just reflecting on is we are really ordinary people with an extraordinary community and extraordinary education. So anybody out there that's thinking, oh man, how can I do this? It's really just having the right people and education around you, right? They say knowledge is powerful, but it's got to be applied too, right? So the support community around us, like we challenge each other, just saying what Keith is up to and Scott and all the people, incredible people in here, it just really encourages you to know that I can do it too. So I'm just forever grateful for that. And of course, my lovely wife here.
Well said.
Giving each other.
Extraordinary resources. And I would say then, like, get plugged into the resources and take it step by step, right? You don't have to hit a home run the first time. Like for us, we have properties that cash flow more, but what excites us about this property is the appreciation, right? The house is surrounded by multi-million-dollar homes. And then the depreciation. We have active income from the resort. We want more of a tax benefit. And so I'll leave it at know why you're doing it. Where do you want to be in 10 years? And start reverse engineering. Everything we do is like intentional of, will this get closer to where we want to be and improve our quality of life? Or is it just more busy work, right?
So again, guys, I've known you for a while now, and I remember you telling me before you acquired it that one of your goals was to live by a lake, to have a place by a lake. And then you ended up buying a resort on a lake. Okay. Well, so what is your short version of what your 10-year goal is? 10 years from now, what is your goal?
I mean, that would be a whole nother hour. But I think for a lot of people, like most people, we want options.
Yeah.
Right. And so real estate investing gives us options. Like right now, we have the option if we want to stay in this house when we're not at the resort, we just block it off and we stay there. Yeah. So it's for us, it's creating options. And we have a lot of family in Uganda, and we know there's a lot of needs among our fellow Americans, and we want to be positioned to be able to help people.
Yeah.
So to help other people, we need our own oxygen flowing, and that's really our vision, is to be able to help others.
So it's options and opportunities to help other people.
Well, guys, this has been, thank you. That's a great way to end it. Very well said, Anna. We're going to wrap up. It is the top of the hour. As Keith said, if you're interested in learning more about the community, about the education, just a lot more information that we can expand on what Anna and Roy talked about today. We do have that Zoom meeting after this at a different link. You could text who invited you. They could get you set up. If it doesn't work today, as Keith said, we have other things throughout the week that you can plug in. We're going to be back next Saturday. Keith, we're going to what, North Carolina next week?
Yeah, North Carolina.
North Carolina. We're going to go from Minnesota to North Carolina next week. And then from North Carolina, we're going to go back up to your area, Anna and Roy. We got Kayla going to be on. So we're super excited about that. So guys, have a blessed weekend. Thank you for everything, Keith, for what you do for the community and give back with these property tours. Anna and Roy, thanks for coming on again. Look forward to seeing you in the near future. Everybody have a blessed weekend. And, hopefully everybody's got their 2025 plans down and they're moving forward. And we'll see you next Saturday. Okay, guys?
See you later. Awesome.
Thank you.